Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're heading to one of the most mysterious places on Earth, Mount Kailash. This place is just wrapped in these wild stories, supernatural forces, ancient secrets, you name it. So today our mission is to peel back those layers of myth and find out what's really going on with this sacred mountain. All right, so let's just dive right in. We're going to start with the really sensational claims, the stuff that you see all over the internet. And a lot of this you'll find traces back to this one expedition in 1999, led by a Russian researcher, a guy named Dr. Ernst Moldashev. And man, the stories he came back with, they really set the world on fire. Okay, so here's the big one, the most famous claim, the one you've probably heard, is that time, it just works differently on Kailash. The story goes that if you get too close, you start to age like super fast. We're talking hair and nails growing in a few hours what would normally take weeks. It's a wild idea. And this is the story that really drives it home. This specific, absolutely terrifying tale comes right from Moldashev's account. It's become the cornerstone of the whole Kailash mystery, right? This idea of a force that literally punishes you for getting too close. But believe it or not, the claims get even bigger. Yeah, it's not just about aging. The theories go way further, saying Kailash isn't even a real mountain. They say it's a giant man-made pyramid, and it's hollow. And inside, hidden cities, ancient civilizations, just waiting. It's some serious sci-fi stuff. Now, before we start fact-checking all of this, we've got to ask a basic question. Why this mountain? What makes Kailash so special in the first place? Because the real story, the real power of Kailash, it doesn't start with these modern myths. It goes way, way back. We're talking thousands of years of deep religious significance. See, this place is like the spiritual epicenter for 4 different major religions. For thousands of years, people have been making pilgrimages here. And the goal isn't to climb it, no. It's to walk this sacred 52-kilometer path all the way around its base. It's an incredible act of faith. And what's so fascinating is how each faith sees it. For Hindus, it's literally the home of Lord Shiva. For Buddhists, it's the home of the deity Chakrasamvara. For Jains, it's the spot where their first spiritual leader found liberation. And for the Bon faith, it's considered the axis mundi, the very center of the world connecting heaven and earth. So you can see this isn't just a mountain, it's the center of the universe for millions. Okay, so now that we get just how sacred this place is, let's circle back to those wild claims we talked about. It's time to put them under the microscope and see what's fact and what's fiction. All right, that big one again. Does time really speed up on Kailash? This is the claim that grabs everyone. But to really understand it, you have to follow the trail. Where did this story even start? Well, it all comes back to Dr. Moldashev. And here's the thing. He was an eye surgeon. A brilliant one, maybe, but not a physicist who studies relativity. He also, claimed that things like mermaids and vampires were real, so there's that. But here's the kicker. Russia's official mountaineering federation, they have zero record of that Siberian climbers expedition. It's just not in the books. And if you ask a physicist, they'll tell you that time dilation, that's the actual scientific term, it requires insane speeds or gravity, like near a black hole, neither of which you're going to find on a mountain in Tibet. Okay, so what about the other big claim? That Kailash isn't a mountain at all, but a perfectly engineered pyramid. And not just that, but it's pleased with this cosmic precision, linking it to Stonehenge, the North Pole, you name it, all using this mysterious number, 6,666. So let's look at the numbers. And you know what? At first glance, they're pretty intriguing. The claim is 6,666 kilometers to the North Pole. The actual distance, about 6,650. I mean, that's close, but it's not exact. And when you look at the other sites, like Stonehenge, the numbers get even further apart. So it's a cool idea, but this claim of mathematical perfection, it just doesn't really check out when you look closely. And what about that perfect pyramid shape? Well, it turns out nature is a pretty amazing architect. Geologists have a clear explanation for this. During the Ice Ages, glaciers carved away at the mountain on multiple sides, and what you're left with is this incredible, rare pyramid shape. It's a totally natural process. In fact, you can see the exact same thing happening with another famous peak, the Matterhorn in the Alps. It's not aliens, it's ice. Even that mystery about the 2 lakes at the bottom, one's considered holy and has fresh water, and the other is demonic and full of salt water, there's a simple scientific reason for it. The holy one, Lake Manasaravar, has an outlet like a drain, so minerals can flow out, keeping the water fresh. The other one, Raksha's Tel is landlocked. It has no outlet. So for centuries, water evaporates, but all the salt and minerals just get left behind, getting more and more concentrated. That's why nothing can live in it. Okay, so if it's not angry gods or time warps stopping people, what's the real story? Why has nobody ever climbed to the top of this mountain? I mean, it's 6,638 meters high. That's tall, for sure. But Everest is way taller, and thousands of people have stood on top of that. So what gives? Now, don't get me wrong, it's an incredibly tough mountain. Early climbers who checked it out said the faces are super steep, the weather is totally unpredictable. It's a huge challenge. But, and this is the key, they said it wasn't technically impossible to climb. So physical difficulty alone isn't the reason it's still untouched. The real answer starts to come into focus with a story about Reinhold Messner. I mean, this guy is arguably the greatest mountaineer of all time. Back in 1985, he was actually offered a permit to climb Kailash, but this is the kind of thing he heard from the community. People told him one should not trample in mountain boots on God's turned to stone. And he got it. He respected that, and he turned the permit down. And that's the crucial point right there. The push to leave Kailash alone didn't come from governments, not at first. It came from the top climbers in the world. They themselves decided as a community that climbing this mountain would just be a massive act of disrespect to the millions of people who hold it sacred. And this idea, this powerful ethical stance from climbers, eventually led to something official. And it all came to a head in one specific year, 2001. So what happened in 2001? A Spanish team got a permit to climb, and it caused an absolute international uproar. Protests came from all over the world, from religious groups, from the climbing community itself. And in response, the Chinese government stepped in and made it official. They banned all climbing on Mount Kailash permanently. And that is the real reason no one climbs it today. So when you put all this together, you realize the real wonder of Kailash isn't about time warps or secret alien pyramids. The real miracle here is actually a human one. I mean, really think about this for a second. We've walked on the moon. We've sent probes to the bottom of the deepest oceans. We love to conquer things, to plant a flag on the highest, the farthest, the deepest point. But here is one place on Earth that we, as a species, have collectively agreed to just leave alone. Not because we can't get there, but simply out of respect. That's the real miracle of Kailash. And that leaves us with a really powerful question to chew on, doesn't it? In this age where we're driven to explore and conquer every last frontier, what's the value in leaving one place unconquered? What do we gain by choosing to let a mystery be? It's something to think about. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.